Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, from my ex-home base here in Capitan, New Mexico. This is Rusty 78609, fixing to get on the road again. Got a long pull today, a long old pull. But anyway, goodbye to my ex-home base. Thank the owner for letting me stay here for a few days. I sprayed the weeds, but some of these things look like they're hard to kill. I used enough weed killer for 40 lots, but we'll see what happens. I just did the ones in the road. But anyway, so yeah, whenever you're hooking up your RV, guys, here's a little tip. If you're by yourself, number one, go slow, and number two, to check your lights, all you got to do is just turn your parking lights on. That'll check your trailer lights, and you see they're on now. So I've got trailer lights, and of course my tail lights are flashing. I got the flasher on. And then you can walk to the back of your RV and be sure that your tail lights are working, because that's very important. And that also checks your turn signal when you got the emergency flashers on, so you're good to go. And this is the little addition that I added right here. This is my little temperature gauge that just sticks on the outside of the window. Is it going to be there when I get to my next campsite? Probably not. But anyway, so I've got the box locked and all the stuff. And so, yeah, I sprayed the heck out of those weeds, but, and they're dying, but it's slow. They're hard to get rid of. But anyway, having said that, let's go get in the truck now and go traveling. How about that? Beautiful morning, about 55, 58 degrees right now. Perfect camping, traveling weather. And if I can get this thing in the holder without cutting it off, then we're good to go, okay? If I can get it in the holder without cutting it off, okay? Okay, there it goes in the holder. And then I have to push this little button here and not cut it off. There, I did it. Is it on? Yeah, we're still going. So then I have to put this under the video thing so that it doesn't shake too much. And once I get all that did, then we'll be on the road, okay? Turn it up just a little bit there, and about right in there, okay? That's a good start. So now, guys, I got my green tee. I got to put my seatless belt on. They call it a seat belt, but it doesn't have a seat. And what else have I got to do? I don't know. So seat belt Z on is hooked. Now turn emergency flashers off, parking lights off, put car in drive, brake off, check trailer brakes. Okay, we got everything done. Let's go. We're on the road, guys. I can't go to the left here because the road is closed down there by the school. Why is it closed? I don't have a clue. But we're going to go this here way, and it's a little bumpy. Not here. It's an easy out because they smoothed out the entrance and the exit. So yeah, the power's off at the lot and locked. So we got that did, and away we go. Where are we going? Oh, it's going to be a big surprise, guys. I know y'all are just sitting on pins and needles, or on pins and needles, whatever that means. We have a lot of sayings that I don't really know what the heck they mean. Okay, we're going to go over here and get on Highway 380 and go west about 24 miles to, surprisingly, Valley of the Gnats. Or Valley of the Fires, actually. It's Valley. When there's no wind, it's Valley of the Gnats. And as far as flies, there's flies everywhere, okay? There's not a campsite you're going to go to that you're not going to have flies. You forget that dream. Some of them are biting flies. That's the worst ones. They actually have mandibles. They can take a little chunk out of you. So here we go, and there's absolutely no hurry, so we'll just cruise along here, and we'll talk about. I don't use a sway bar. I would if I have a sway bar and I have my hitch set up so I can use a sway bar, but I don't use one. Why? Well, the trailer weighs 2,450 pounds, loaded about 2,700 pounds, and my truck's tow capacity is about 5,000 pounds, so we're in good shape there. So we got plenty of truck to tow the RV. If you're underpowered or whatever, then you may want to use a sway bar. But yeah. And then as far as a load distribution hitch, you don't need one of those at all. As far as I know, on a casita, there's not that much load. The tongue weight is 290 pounds on the hitch for the casita, so that's not too much. And I think the hitch capacity on my Ram truck is 480 pounds, so we're about half. This road going out of Capitan is a little rough, and you climb out of Capitan. It's not much of a hill here, but it's a little grade all the way to what is called Indian Divide. Yeah, it's the peak, and then from that way going towards Carrizozo, you can almost coast all the way. And we passed Levi's place up here on the left, Levi's Bed and Breakfast. If anybody's interested in buying a bed and breakfast, look in the real estate stuff for Capitan, New Mexico, and you'll find a listing for a bed and breakfast that belongs to Levi. And Levi wants to get rid of it so he can get on the road again. And I don't blame him one bit. Beautiful day. Temperature shows inside of my truck, or the truck temperature gauge shows 62. It'll be warmer in Carrizozo, but I have electricity there and water, which is nice. The bed and breakfast is on the left. I'd turn the camera, but I'm already past it. But yeah, it's a nice place. He's going to leave a lot of artifacts and stuff that are worth a lot of dough. So yeah, check it out. He says he's got some people looking, so hopefully he'll sell it. I hope he does. And then what else can I tell you? As far as RVing, it's actually, pulling a trailer, small trailer, is easy. I've pulled larger ones. I think the largest trailer I had was a 28-footer. I had a 28-foot fifth wheel for a while, and I also had a 28-foot travel trailer, and I didn't need the space in either one of them. It was just a heavy load to haul up and down the highway. For one person, you don't need that. For two people, possibly. It depends on you. I mean, I've seen two people camping in these little R-pods and stuff, so, it just depends, And it depends on how long you're going to be out. I mean, if it's just a weekend camping trip, well, go and take a tent, but if you live in it like I do, that's a whole different lifestyle and perspective. Trust me, it is. But this is all I've got now. I used to have a couple of home bases, one in Texas and one in Capitan, the place I just left. And now I have neither, and I like that better. For right now, it's fine. Will I ever acquire another place? I'm not going to say never, because I may change my mind today. So having said that, I'm waiting on some solar that will be delivered to Lowe's in Alamogordo on, looks like Saturday, I think. And I'll drive over there and get the solar, come back to Valley of the Gnats or Fire, and check it out. And then if everything looks okay, then I'll go to some boondocking sites in the Capitan area and spend a few days out in the boonies. And then toward the end of September, I'll head back to Texas because the temperatures will start to cool down a little bit and probably be in the low 90s in that range, which is tolerable. It's the low 100s that is not tolerable for me. And what else about RVing as we're traveling along here? Let me think. My theory is, of course, I'm going 40 right now. There's no traffic on this highway. I'm in absolutely no hurry. And if you'll bear that in mind when you're RVing, is allow yourself plenty of time for your trip. Don't try to see too many things or you'll just be worn out the whole trip. But if you just cruise along, take short hops, 200 miles or so in that range, yeah, you're good. 4 hours of towing, park, a couple of days, 4 hours of towing, park, a couple of days. Yeah, that's a comfortable trip. But when you start towing 600 or 800 miles a day, 400 miles a day or more, then you're working. You are definitely working. I mean, even younger. I mean, I did it. I know. I'm just telling you what I learned. I learned it the hard way. We should be. I don't know if we haven't gone over Indian Divide yet, I don't think. Pretty drive, a little winding through the mountains here in New Mexico. We're about 15, 18 miles from Ruidoso and Ski Apache. Get a little snow in here in the winter. Not much in Capitan. They say it's a lot less than it used to be. I waited to get gasoline until I got over here in Carrizozo because that's the cheapest gas around. It's the same price as the lowest in Ruidoso, and it's let's see, it's 16 cents a gallon cheaper than Capitan. Does that make a difference? Yeah, it does. You know, a penny saved is a penny earned. If you save a few pennies every now and then, that adds up to dollars. Some of you have asked about, showing how to hook up the RV. There's nothing to it. You just have to do it. And as far as, the hitches and stuff, the best way to learn the RV is do it. You'll make some mistakes, but the way to avoid most of them is go slow, double check, have you a checklist. I still have a checklist, and I've done this, hundreds of times. But I still have a checklist, and I still look at it, and every now and then I catch myself overlooking something because it just, you get in a routine, and it's just, you just forget. And I'm getting older, and that doesn't help either. So guys, we're going to cross Indian Divide up here, and when we start the downhill side, well, I'll let it go a few minutes. We'll see. Because it's two totally different environments. Here you've got a lot of trees, mountains, rolling hills, curvy roads. And when you get over this hill going towards Carrizozo, the road straightens out. I'll get it out here. Straightens out, and it's flat land, very few trees. And you can see for miles. That's why I'm going over there, because you got some beautiful views. The temperature is about 4 or 5 degrees warmer during the day than it is in Capitan in that area, because it's lower in the elevations. The elevation of Carrizozo, New Mexico is about 5,400 feet, I think. But that's it's okay. I mean, it gets up into the low 90s, and in the mornings it'll be in the low 60s, which is very, very tolerable compared to Central Texas. Okay, we just crossed. Yeah, we just crossed Indian Divide. Now we'll start down the hill here, or mountain. Down the mountain, run, boy, run. The devil's in the house of the rising sun. Remember that song? It was a guy somebody on a bike says, I was going down that mountain going 90 miles an hour when the chain on my bicycle broke. I was skint all up by the rocks and the gravel and punctured to death by the spokes. That is an oldie but a goodie. Yeah, I'm just coasting now, and I'm going 55. This is how you get 30 miles to the gallon towing an RV. Go down a mountain. No wind. That's good and bad. It's good for towing, but it's not good when I arrive at Valley of the Gnats. If you have a 10 mile an hour wind, they don't bother you. 10 miles an hour or above. Below that, they're everywhere. Anyway, guys, I'll end the video. Let me get around and I'll show you the flatlands. I'll go that far. Got a couple of more curves, and then it opens up. Pretty drive through the mountains. Again, if you go slow and you're not in a hurry, there's not a car on the highway. It's not like you're in Dallas, Fort Worth traffic, you know what I mean? Or Austin, Texas, or any other large city. This is, hello out there. Where is everybody? Did the world end while I was sleeping? Beautiful mountains in here, though. Beautiful mountain road drive. And then you'll see it opening up not too far. We got about, let's see, maybe 2 more curves, and then it opens up. I'm going to have a swaller of my green tea. Here's to you, here's to me. Should we ever disagree, here's to me. I put a little honey in my tea for sweetener, a tablespoon, and it adds a nice flavor. Yeah, they say green tea has some, quote, antioxidants in them. I don't know. That's a word that came along in the past 20 years. Antioxidants or antioxidants. Now we're back to 45 miles an hour, and we're fixing to get into the open spaces here. There's a lot of hunting in this area in the fall and in the winter, and the traffic picks up for that. So they've got summer used to have a big tourism boom, and then in the fall they had the hunting, and so they had some. And then the winter you got the ski resort. So they always this area's done well off of that. But now all of that's pretty well. The hunting will still be there, but the rest of it's in limbo. Remember that song Limbo? Da 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 da. Yeah, I used to do the limbo. They'd have the little limbo stick, and they kept getting it lower and lower and lower. I knew some people that could go under about, 10 inches off the ground, seemed like. I don't know how they did it. Yeah, I ride down the road singing to myself, talking to myself. And that casita is such a pleasure to tow, guys, I have to tell you. Compared to anything I've ever had, I'm telling you. Nothing to it. Sometimes I have to double check, be sure it's still back there. But a large RV, you know it's there. You get you a 28, 30 footer, you know it's there. You know it. Anyway, guys, see how it opens up now? Now we're in the valley. Having said that, guys, from getting near Valley of the Gnats Fires, this is Rusty78609 saying thumbs up, carpe diem, adios, bye-bye. Carpe diem means seize the day in Latin. That means get going. Carpe diem, adios, bye-bye, anything you want. But if you think about it, you use the link to Amazon products in the description of all of my videos. Why? Because it doesn't cost you a penny. You just click on it, go to Amazon, buy whatever you want. You don't have to buy what the link takes you to. You can go anywhere. And what else? You can also use the PayPal account if you want to. It's better than Patreon. There's no fee. And then what else? Yeah, drink plenty of water, take deep breaths, stretch, walk, stand guard at the door of your titanium mind. You know what I mean? Your titanium cranium. Yep. Anyway, guys, adios amigos. Till next time. And then as soon as I get to solar, we'll head back to the boonies, and on it goes. Adios.